Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you. It's for Friday the 13th day of March. Here we go. First of all, a bunch of reminders about stuff that's happening this Shabbos. It's going to be a double parsha, Vayakel and Pekude. Just wanted you to know that. Also, we're going to finish the book of Shemos. We're going to say Chazak Chazak at the end of the Torah reading. Also, it's Parshas Para, and we're going to read a special reading all about the Para Aduma, the red heifer, which was used to purify people at this time of year before the Pesach sacrifice was done a couple of weeks later. It is pretty important to try to get to Shul to hear Parshas Para. It's not quite certainly as important as Parshas Zachar was, but some people put it up there in that same category, so it's still a very good idea for everybody to try to get to Shul to try to hear the reading of Parshas Para this Shabbos. Also, it's Shabbos Mavarchim, which means we'll be saying this special Birkas HaChodesh because there's going to be a Rosh Chodesh coming up in this coming week. The Rosh Chodesh actually will happen the following Shabbos, which is Parshas HaChodesh. We'll tell you about that next week. But I want you to know about that in advance because Shabbos Mavarchim, we will say Rosh Chodesh Nisan, Yihiyeh B'Yom Shabbos Kodesh, Haba Aleinu L'Tova. We're going to be announcing that Rosh Chodesh Nisan will start next Shabbos on, that'll be Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Now your law for today. Sometimes it'll happen that a package could arrive to you in the mail in the middle of Pesach, and it's chametz. One of those sample items, or I don't know, something that just arrives in your mail, and there's chametz in it, and you're not allowed to own chametz on Pesach. You were so careful to have no chametz available, and here it's arriving with a FedEx man, a UPS guy. So what do? So if you meet him at the door, it is best to tell the guy, is that a food item? I don't think I want that. It's just that I didn't order that, and I don't accept it, and that's your best thing to do if you know it's a chametz item. If that's not an option, so don't bring it into your house. Don't even put it on your porch. Try to just kind of like have no intention to accept it because you don't want to own chametz on Pesach, and try to just have its status be hefker, which means like I don't own it and the guy just dumped it on your lawn, and be happy with anybody non-Jewish just stealing it from your lawn because you don't want to own chametz on Pesach. If somehow mistakenly it was brought into your home, then what you should do is make certain to have kavana, that means intention, to not acquire it, because again, you're not allowed to own chametz on Pesach, and this mistakenly brought in stuffed chametz into your home, you should be planning to not own it. Don't touch the chametz, if at all possible, and if it arrives on Chol HaMoed, and you can dispose of it by burning it, flushing it, or whatever, then deal with it. Get rid of it, because you're not allowed to own chametz on Pesach. If it's Shabbos or Yontif when you're not able to burn it, then just cover it up and put it out of sight and have no intention to accept it or acquire it, because again, you're not allowed to own chametz on Pesach. And lastly, you might get a delivery of a food item on Pesach. I'm sorry, it's not a food item, but the peanuts. Those styrofoam peanuts that they now package things in some packages? If they're made of styrofoam, of course, that's fine. But sometimes those things that look like styrofoam peanuts are actually made of wheat starch, and that could be chametz, and you don't want to handle that either. They're actually edible. I know you're not going to want to eat them, and they're not very tasty, but they are chametz, and you should ask your rabbi what to do. A package just arrived, and there are pellets all around it, and I think they're wheat starch. They're not styrofoam. The way to know, I read this in a Rabbi Neustadt book, the way to know if they're styrofoam is when they're all random shapes. That's usually the styrofoam peanuts, so they're fine. But if they're all the same shape and kind of like cylindrical, those are the ones made out of wheat starch, and they could be a chametz problem. So if you see something like that going on in the middle of Pesach and something that arrives, discuss that with your rabbi before handling it, and hopefully he'll be able to tell you what to do. Thanks for logging on. Have a great Shabbos. Don't forget all the Shabbos special things, and log on again after Shabbos for more. Bye-bye.